Woohoo. Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. Do we have an interesting show here for you tonight? So how this is going to work is we're going to talk for a bit. We're going to open up the questions. We will do a brief grounding meditation at the end so we can leave on a very positive high note. We're going to run for about an hour or so in length. And Rue over here is going to be holding space for us tonight. Now, I'm an energy guy. I'm not known for news. And so I watched, well, let me back up. If you caught Dr. Stephen Greer's interview last week, wow. He held a conference this past weekend, and then he held a press club event today. And I'm seeing Bobik. Okay. my team member is sending me notes right now, which is perfect, and yet taking me off track. I attended the conference this weekend. I want to tell you all about it. I attended the press club event, which is open to the public today as well. I want to tell you all about that. And I want to share with you both key insights, great takeaways, positives, hope, love, light from these events. And that's what I am. I'm an energy guy. I'm all about the hope, the love, the light, and shifting that energy to something that's quite positive. I am not a reporter. That's not maybe my best skill set. So I'm going to give you what I learned based on the best of my ability, which is not this is exactly what was said at blah, 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 but the things that, well, we've got funny dirt on the glasses, the things that matter most and the things that really struck a chord with me. That's where we're going to be going here tonight. No, it was 3 days worth of interviews. I didn't catch everything, but I did my best to catch all of it. And the most important thing that I want you to understand is none of this has to be gloom and doom. None of it has to be anything. So I see somebody saying here, the press club scared me. It does not have to scare you. And I know if we were to jump into the heart of the matter, Dr. Greer is saying we've got about 6 months to get certain things in order. We've got 2 or 3 years to get other things in order. We've got 10 to 15 years to get other things in order. And what do I know? Well, Jessica and I are moving in a month, and we believe we know where we're going, though tonight that's actually a little bit less certain. What do we know? And that's my wife, Jessica, for people who are new. I know that everything will come together and we will get our house in order, and humanity will get her house in order as well. Dr. Stephen Greer, one of the things that he points out in his recent documentary, in the press club event, he points out that there's a Hopi prophecy. And there are 2 lines along the Hopi prophecy. One goes up like stairs and then stops and dead ends. The other, much more smooth, much more level, continuing out into infinity. Humanity can choose one of these 2 lines. I believe we've already chosen. He mentioned in his documentary that people came back from the future and met with people here and said, we're 500,000 years in the future of you. They said there is the possibility that humanity might not make it through, and we're here to help you make some substantial changes now that you must make, and we implore you to make. But to me, the fact that they're coming from the future gives me hope that we have made it through this time. And I truly believe we will. Now, to me, nothing is gloom and doom. Everything is energy. And I go down like the best of them, but I bring it back fast. That's what I teach in the School of Mystics. That's what I'm going to help you with even here tonight, is how to bring that energy back fast. However, we had somebody in the chat last week, a beautiful soul, and they were saying, I don't want it to, but violence may be necessary to overthrow the powers that be to take our freedom back. And I'm here to tell you, violence begets violence. Anger only begets anger. An eye only loses an eye. A tooth only loses a tooth. This is about playing a higher level game, the highest level game. That's what this is about. That's what every extraterrestrial civilization is about. That's what we get to do, and that's what we get to be, is playing the highest level game. Now, somebody here says there's been nothing on the national press. Great. Okay, I'll say great. Why? Well, you get to be the national press. You get to share these events. You get to share everything from Dr. Greer. You get to share everything from your heart. That's how we take back our power. It sometimes takes us being powerless, having our backs up against the wall, going, wait a second, that's not what I want. This is what I really want. Well, this is what we want. Freedom, hope, energy, love, connection, a future. So we share this event. We share Dr. Greer's event. We share last week's show with everybody, everywhere. Now, Dr. Greer did something incredibly brave. He took 30 years of interviews, 30 years of witnesses, 30 years of testimony, 30 years of evidence. And in a hard drive, he delivered it to Congress. He delivered it to the Senate. He delivered it to all these committees. He delivered it to journalists. He delivered it to 1,000 different people, places, and organizations. Wow. 1,000 places. The word will get out there. 752 eyewitnesses, 145 or 43. I think he said first 45, then it was 43. I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. 143 or 145 bases that are either clandestine or not being used for what we're told they're being used. Trillions of dollars misappropriated or disappeared. 121, now 122 corroborated downings of what is called UFOs or UAPs to distort the truth. We know what they are and we know who they are. But that language is used to take us from the truth. We can take back our voice. We can take back the truth. We can own this thing. We can own it. You've got a Facebook account. You've got an Instagram account. You've got a TikTok account. You've got the YouTube account. Share, 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 share. Whatever pulls on your heart. Congress, contact your congressman, contact your congresswomen. And I'll explain why. And Dr. Greer was very clear about this. He's saying this is not for the us versus the US government. This is not us versus the Defense Department. This is not us versus any of the known. This is us versus a shadowy agency that is worldwide, that has unlimited funds, unlimited resources, and has been squashing the truth. I read a brilliant piece a couple of days ago about the whistleblower this week who came forward and testified in Congress. And this gentleman was saying, well, it all sounds good, but how could there be such an elaborate hoax? Nobody could pull anything off on the government. Nobody could pull anything off within the government. What he's saying seems like he's honest, he's sincere, but it's just not possible for it to be that big of a lie. Guess what? It is. And I heard this weekend testimony after testimony after testimony after seeing evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence. Not to get us angry, not for righteous indignation, not for righteous judgment or anything, but to go, all right, I get to crank this up to even more love. The last question that was asked today, actually second to last, and then it dovetailed into the last as well, was, well, isn't it possible that these extraterrestrial civilizations could harm us or out for no good or could be violent with us? Here's the simple answer. The technology is 1,000 years or more ahead, 100,000, 500,000 years ahead of anything we have. If extraterrestrial civilizations wanted to take us out, they could do it in a heartbeat. But they're coming from a place of love. They're rooting for us to make it through. Now, they're scared of us. Why are they scared of us? Well, without going into all the details, because I don't know all the details, there was a brilliant talk this weekend about scalar waves and scalar energy and how, what's the best way to put it? I studied physics in college. I studied theory of relativity. I understand mass and speed and energy and things of this sort. Basically, a scalar wave doesn't move like a normal wave. It moves longitudinally and it moves without mass. Best way to describe it is, let's see. I had a big piece of paper here. In our level of physics, we can only go the speed of light. So something's got to go from here to here. It could take a while. In scalar physics, you're already there. There is no such thing as distance. Now, that means that extraterrestrials can travel here in a heartbeat, and it means they can bop in and out of existence. It also means that since we have been dialing alien spacecraft since the mid-40s, and we re-engineered their technology, and he proves that by October 1954, we had engineered UFO vehicles. We know how to play with scalar waves. Why is this important? First off, the atomic bomb. That's when aliens or extraterrestrial civilizations took great interest in us. And I believe they've done so in the past. You can look at the Ayurvedic carvings, and you can see that there were wars in the past. You can see that there is spacecraft in the past. You can see there were fighter jets in the past. So they've been watching humanity carefully. And in the 40s, when we started exploding the bomb, what happens when you explode a bomb is not only does energy go out in traditional classical physics, but in quantum physics, scalar energy, scalar waves go out. And these scalar waves affect communication, they affect travel, and they affect alien, and that's considered a racist word, so forgive me, I'm retraining my mind for it. They affect extraterrestrial civilizations as well. Once we started exploding the bomb, it wasn't that we suddenly put ourselves on a world stage. It was suddenly, oh boy, what could humanity do to us if they're not careful? So extraterrestrials could have taken us out at that point, except they stepped back. They came from a place of love, and they said, let's watch them. Let's see what happens. Let's see what they do. Let's see if they can make it through this time period. And let's see if we can hold on through this time period. And we've gotten to here. The reason Dr. Greer is so concerned, and the reason I believe all these whistleblowers are coming forward now at this particular point, because I always look at the timing of things. Between you and me, we were renting a place, then we weren't. Then we were renting a place, and maybe we're not. Cancel, clear, release. If it's meant to be, it will be. But it always has to do with the timing. And I'm very particular at looking at why things happen at the same time, why people say things at the same time, why people do things at the same time. When all these people are coming together or coming forward at the same time, there is a very powerful reason for it. First off, there's a critical mass of goodness. Woohoo! Or if I had a Hannah Bear here and I started clapping, that's my daughter, and I started clapping, she'd start clapping as well. For so much. The other reason is, and this is something that I've known years, decades, I don't know how long. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I'm very awake and aware. And I look at things, and I go to my automatic writing, and I study, and I have a science degree, among other things. Technically, I have a political science degree. Somebody recently called me a political scientist. Take that as a positive. I was making a degree in exercise physiology, didn't get that, did get a good degree in computers, information systems, and got a business degree as well. I am very analytical, even though I speak from the heart. And so I have known for a long time, things are not as they appear to be, and we're not alone in the galaxy. We aren't even close to alone. So extraterrestrial civilizations, they could have taken us out. We start playing with scalar waves. We start getting more and more advanced. People start coming forward. Why do they start coming forward? Because we have weaponized, we, not you and me, but humanity has weaponized the re-engineered alien technology. They're called UFO and UAP to take us away from the truth. First off, they're known. And I believe Dr. Greer said there were 70 or 72 different known extraterrestrial beings that have visited the Earth, I believe because of downed spacecraft and the bodies that were recovered. And yes, bodies have been recovered, whisked away, of course, but bodies have been recovered. Scalar waves. So going back to this technology, we re-engineered it by 1954. Basically, in the early 1950s, somebody flipped a switch on a radar and suddenly alien spacecraft could come out of the sky. Why? Because they were hit with a scalar wave, a beam of energy. The radar not only bounces things off of, well, airplanes and weather and can see things that way, but a higher frequency can knock aircraft out of the sky. And we took that technology in places like, I'm told from this event, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin with their Skunk Works re-engineered it, learned how this technology works. Going back way before I heard Dr. Stephen Greer, I had heard that, where do you think a chip comes from in your computer? We had tubes, vacuum tubes, and then suddenly we had chip technology, that it didn't come from us. And at this point, we have duplicated this technology and may even have fleets of vehicles, like the Tic Tacs that were shown across the news, that were shown these Navy fighters, or is it Marine fighters off the coast of San Diego, looking at these things going, oh my God, what are these Tic Tacs flying in the air? Turns out they're us. Why is this important? Because we're starting to develop weapon systems. I know people have heard of HARP. They had a HARP is a giant antenna array, we'll call it, in Alaska, that is purported to be up to a lot of no good, including weather control, including earthquake control. He had on a whistleblower who had the keys to this weekend, who had the keys to every single door into the Antarctica observatory, was there for the longest period of time. Well, I don't know if he's the longest, 365 continuous days at the South Pole and this Antarctica observatory. And they asked him to even be in charge. He had the keys to everything. What did he find? That there's the equivalent of a radar array down there. That is makes HARP looks like kids play, because instead of it being two-dimensional, meaning on the Earth, it also goes three-dimensionally into the Earth, a kilometer down. And for some reason, it has unlimited power, hello, free energy, and can shoot beams into the sky continuously, green beams of light, which is supposed to take an exponentially ridiculous amount of energy. This technology has been weaponized. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to say that extraterrestrial civilizations are going, oh boy, what do we do with the world? What do we do with humanity? And the answer is very clear. You and I get to step forward, get to be brave, get the information out there. Not just my information. I know nothing. Dr. Greer knows a lot. The press, we want to know a lot. Even the press that is paid for by a petro-military industrial complex. They're good people. There's so many good people who want to do the right thing. We get the message out, and what Dr. Greer is saying before it is too late. What is too late? Well, his biggest concern is that there could be a false flag event that makes 9/11 look small, that it could look like we're being invaded by extraterrestrial civilizations so that we can be tamped down, so that freedoms can be taken away. I don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. Rue is making his love sound. He doesn't want that to happen. What does that mean? We step forward. We paint an image. So here's the cool thing. One of my dear friends and all-time favorite guests is Dr. Irvin Laszlo, two-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee, won so many countless Peace Prize awards. And he says that right now we are at a bifurcation of humanity, a time when humanity can choose, just like the Hopi prophecy, take ourselves off a cliff or evolve to the next level. The truth, the information, the technology has been withheld from us for over 100 years. It goes back even before Nikola Tesla. There is free energy. We can use free energy. We can tap into free energy. We could heal this planet almost overnight because we have the technology to heal the planet. We just don't have the energetic means. Well, if you have free energy, you can change things overnight. And the majority of wars, what are the wars over? Well, Dr. Greer mentioned it. He said that the Iraq wars were overtaking resources, overtaking oil, that it was another false flag again event. There weren't weapons of mass destruction. It's all about power. And by power, I don't just mean power. I mean power of energy. We're meant to live at a higher level in love with one another. The wars come about because of scarcity of resources. The scarcity goes away. We live in perfect brother and sisterhood. Again, we get to share these messages. We get to step forward. And extraterrestrial civilizations are counting on us to step forward. Somebody made a joke here, Patrick, about the Twilight Zone and to serve man. These are messages put out in organized efforts by the CIA, by other organizations, to make us afraid of extraterrestrials, to put out these War of the Worlds events, to make us fearful, to make us easier to control, to keep the truth from us. What's the truth? Do the math. We couldn't possibly be alone. Do the math. We've got too many eyes in the skies for there to be unidentified objects. Do you think the military, who has a known budget in the trillions of dollars, well, I don't know, it might be a little over $1 trillion a year, does not have eyes in the sky and does not know what's going on? Project Blue Book, and he listed all of these projects this weekend. Dr. Greer went through them, all of the different projects that were to obfuscate the truth, to keep the truth hidden from us in plain sight. Here's the craziest thing, and I'll dovetail here and we'll see where we jump around. They followed the money trail to trillions of dollars being funded into black box programs, into a shadowy government. Still here. Still here. Application froze. Okay, so we are back. Isn't that interesting? That would be Suzanne Gieseman's line that I stole here tonight. Isn't that interesting? I think it was also Dana Carver years ago in Church Lady. Isn't that interesting? Well, it is interesting. Monies are being hidden from us. But somebody said, Rich Movement is saying government messing with the connection. I would go more to the shadowy government. The government, this is why we get to bring this to the public. The government doesn't know. The government can't get information. I think it was, I took a note on this earlier. Let's see if I have this. From Senator Inouye. And Senator Inouye said, okay, I'm going to paraphrase. And he was the head of the, was it the Intelligence Committee for the Senate? And he said that there is a shadowy government with its own Air Force, its own Navy, that plays by their own rules, that is above the law, that is lawless and needs to be reined in, or we are all in trouble. That's what we get to rise above at this point. That's why we actually team up with government. I am like the most, I don't even know if the word nonpartisan, I'm the most non-political, apolitical, love everyone person there is. And there I have tromped the hallowed halls of Congress. I have been in the underground. I've been on the underground like golf cart. I shared a golf cart with Hillary Clinton. Didn't meet her, was in the back seat. But I shared a golf cart thingy with her. It's this little train that goes under Congress years ago. There are some really, really good people there. There are some really corrupt people too, but there's some really, really good people who want to do good. And we get to help them do good. We get to be the do-gooders of do-gooders of do-gooders. So I was mentioning when we got cut off, and I'm not sure where I lost you, that Donald Rumsfeld said the day before the Iraq war that $1.2 trillion were missing from the Pentagon. Hello, that's a big deal. but it's not missing. It's in clandestine programs way, way above the law. There were testimony this weekend from people who, one person saw a spacecraft being loaded up with what he now believes is human trafficking, and was held up at gunpoint, him and his entire platoon, and all of the evidence stripped away from him, and they were threatened with death. They were taken away. They're lucky to make it away. There were witness after witness of how they were threatened, of how they were persecuted, of how they lost almost their lives, or their family lost their lives, because there's this concerted effort to keep the truth from us and to keep the truth from the US government. So we've got several things going on. First off, is the US government hiding zero energy technology from us? Yes, that's got to stop right away. Why? Well, I call myself an amateur climatologist, amateur at very best. I don't know that much at all, but I do follow it a lot. And this place is in a world of hurt, much worse than any of us have been told. Much, 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 much worse. I'm not a gloom and doom guy. I'm a love and light guy. We get to do something about it now. I'm hopeful because of the situation in New York and on the Northeast Seaboard this week. I'm hopeful because what's taken place in Australia over the last few years. I'm hopeful because of what's going on in Canada. But we need to step forward. We need to step forward and say, you can't hide this technology anymore. You can't persecute people who go to the patent office with these brilliant ideas and take them away from them and threaten them with locking up and giving them 80 years. This is all evidence that Dr. Greer presented, giving them 80-year non-disclosure agreements that if you share your technology, your free energy with anyone, you'll be thrown in jail for the rest of your life. We get to step forward on this. So the US government is hiding that, but they don't know the full story of what's really going on. It's not just the US government, it's really the petroleum industry. Hello. That makes money through power in the coal industry, in the power industries, in the power grid. Because if we had no need for the power grid, well, first off, you'd have cars that could levitate. That's kind of cool. We'll get to that maybe in a little bit. So you don't need roads. You don't need asphalt. You don't need to destroy the earth. You don't need to pave the earth. You don't need to extract the oil. You don't need to raise the temperature. We can live in harmony. So we get to push them on that. And at the same time, they have no idea what's being engineered underground. Dr. Greer showed a picture of Lockheed Martin, of their skunk works, where it's an entryway and an exit way from these replicated vehicles. I think they're called ARPs, for these ARP vehicles to leave and take off and return to this hangar in the Mojave Desert. It doesn't have a runway. It's wild. That was one of the things that he showed. The US government doesn't know about this. Bill Clinton tried to find out information about it. More recent presidents have tried to find out information. Stephen Greer met with all of these gentlemen. And he talks about it, and he illustrated it this weekend, and he provides evidence for it. And none of them could get at the truth. In fact, many of them had their lives threatened and went silent. We can't talk about this anymore. Lives have been destroyed. People who came forward, whose families were destroyed, whose lives were threatened, who attempts were made on their lives. Again, this is about bringing power back to the people. I go back to Gandhi, and I go back to India. And yes, every country has its problem. And we'll go to inventor syndrome in a minute. There is no country that is above the military, industrial, petroleum, now pharmaceutical complex. But India, what a miracle story. India was a colony and not treated that well by the United Kingdom until the people came together without violence, but in total solidarity, and took back their country. That's what we get to do. So let's talk just a brief moment about some of these technologies. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to finish going through my notes, or I'm just going to open it up to questions. And I love the conversation that's going on here. And it is so, so positive. And I love you guys. And you can do this. Let me dovetail for a very brief moment. We've got a crazy, beautiful show here. We reach about 300,000 people. Actually, our top shows reach 500,000, maybe more. The Stephen Greer show, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to 1 million. The shows are about energy. It's interesting since we're talking about power. I'm an energy guy. Woohoo. I'm actually about transmuting energy, alchemizing energy, playing with energy, working with energy. But I have a challenge for our show, and I have a challenge for you, which is it's not enough at this point to just meditate. It's not enough to just go quiet. It's not enough even to just do your automatic writing. And believe me, I'm an automatic writing type of guy. We wrote the book on it. But then we get to step forward. As Mel Lee is saying, we don't have to fight anymore. No, we get to step forward with the truth. We get to step forward with our voice. We get to step forward hand in hand. One of the coolest things that Dr. Greer is he gives a list of points. I think it's about 20 points long. First for what the president gets to do, and then what the Senate and Congress get to do. And step by step, he basically outlines what they get to do. Here's the coolest thing, and this is going to blow your mind. Amnesty. That's also known as, we can call it in the Bible. I know they have eye for an eye in there, but there's also this other bigger word, forgiveness. Anybody who comes forward, no matter what they've done, and there's been, and they give testimony for heinous war crimes, murders, mass murders, the list goes on and on. Amnesty. If you come forward and you help us rein this back in, if you help usher in a new era for humanity, if you help bring this technology forward, if you help cast the light on the shadows, we will not try you. We will bring you in as one. Amnesty, forgiveness. What a powerful word. If the ETs are watching, and they are, they would be going, yep, they get it. They get it. Now, one of the things I had thought about is teaching you CE5 technique tonight, how to communicate and reach out to extraterrestrials and actually see them. I'm going to save that for another show in the future. And depending on the response here tonight, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks down the line, we will see. But I want to teach you that technology. And I encourage you right now, this minute, don't wait for me. Go get the CE5 app from Dr. Greer. And if you go, well, he's making money. Heck yeah. He's got a massive team to try to protect people, to try to support people, to try to get out this word, to try to do this. He's got to put food on the table. So that's a good thing, because if he wasn't making money, he wouldn't be able to do this. If he can't put food on the table for himself and his kids, wouldn't be able to help anyone. So you can support him. You can donate to him. Heck, there are 90. You can be one of these 90 plus. There are 90 plus attorneys right now that are going to file a RICO, a racketeering complaint against the shadowy government to bring people forward. Over 90 volunteering attorneys at this point, and growing with this class action lawsuit that will be coming forward. But first, we can have amnesty. We can forgive anyone if they come forward. How cool is that? Because it makes no sense to say, well, you did bad. If you say you did bad, who's going to come forward? You're going to be all right. You're going to be fine. In fact, you're coming forward. We're going to love you up with everything we've got, because we are one. Now, I want to bring us back to power for a little bit. And forgive me, I'm going all over the place tonight. And I had no idea where we would go with this. Well, Jill, I love that you've been a backstage member for 16 months. That's a little button below. We do a lot of behind the scenes videos. In fact, we're due for another one probably, I guess, tomorrow. Oftentimes before I give a talk, I get nervous or don't know exactly where it's going to go. Tonight, the most so of any of my talks, because I just had to let go of everything I think I know and how I'm going to address things and see where that energy flows. So let's go from there to energy and where energy flows. So there have been countless hero inventors over the last 100, might be 120, 140 years that have been able to generate electricity out of the ether, out of the vacuum. Please note the words ether, vacuum. Those are both Nikola Tesla terms. There's pictures of him sitting with all this electricity flying around behind him. Thousands and thousands of volts and megawatts coming out of nowhere, now, here. What is he plugging into? He's plugging into the field of energy that is the baseline fabric of the universe. What do I mean? Well, things can be waves, they can be particles, they can be waves, they can be particles. They pop in and out of existence. And that pop has an energy to it, has a pulse to it, has you could call it a frequency to it. That energy, and I am a layperson by far on this, but that energy can be tapped into, harnessed, and utilized. He showed invention after invention. One invention side of a cigarette case put out like, I don't know if there's the one that put out 5,000 watts, another one size of a shoebox, a few hundred watts, and it may have that reversed. All of these different things that were size independent. This gentleman who ran a car on water. Another one who did scooters on water. It actually took, I think, like a fraction of a millivolt to get the thing going. And invention after invention after invention. So why don't we have any of this technology yet? Well, because the powers that be are in the patent office. If you actually bring it in for a patent, you're in trouble. If you actually try to sell it, you're in trouble. What's the trouble? Well, Stephen Greer has offered kind of a bounty, a reward. I think it may actually be several $1 million to someone who will come forward with their invention and is willing to have it tested, willing for us to set up a lab, worldwide lab where everybody can observe it, and willing to blockchain, put their technology out to the general public so that everybody can test it, everybody can share it, everybody can see if this works. And they'll be protected. He said what happens with inventors is they have Gollum syndrome. They have this ring and they go, my precious, my precious. And he said the irony is that a lot of these inventions are the shape of a ring. Thank you, Jill, so much. How does it get any better than this? And he says the inventors try to keep it to themselves. And they get killed or they take it with them to their death. That is a big challenge. That's sort of going along the lines of amnesty and forgiveness. Whoever has this information gets to come forward. I go forward to Dr. Stephen Greer's team. Let them help you. Let them help you get it out. There are so many brave inventors who've come across this and then pulled back, either because there have been threats on themselves, threats on their families, or something really, really terrible as heinous has happened. Or they've been slapped with a non-disclosure that they've been forced to sign. Heck, Stephen Greer, what a hero. He was sharing top secret document after top secret document after top secret document. And he goes, they can't take me to jail for this. Show me the government, because it's the shadow government, he says, that actually made these things top secret. Since you can't show me a legal government that did it, then I don't respect your authority. But what happens with inventors is they try to hold it too close to home. They try to make a profit. They try to think, well, this is the thing that's going to make me super rich, like Thomas Edison. Hello, power. The same time as Tesla. Hello, Tesla had free energy. Edison didn't. Edison went on to great fame. Tesla died a couple of years after getting hit by a car. Hello, completely broke. And some would say crazy. Wasn't crazy at all. He went up against the powers that be. The only way to go up against the powers that be is the power of all of us together and the power of us all together in a place of one. So that energy, it existed. It got into alien technology, things called G engines. And he shared alien spacecraft after alien spacecraft after alien spacecraft. And then after all of these ARPs, these re-engineered vehicle, alien re-engineered reproductive vehicle, I'm not going to get the term right. Please forgive me on that, that are made by us for black flag operations to bring in unlimited money and to scare the heck out of us. How? Well, he actually talked about and showed diagrams of robots that were created to make people feel that they had been abducted. And he had at least one person as a witness who was abducted, and his wife as well. Designed to scare us and to make us think that extraterrestrials are against us. In fact, the last question that got asked today was, well, what about them meddling with our DNA? And he said, well, we're the ones. That shadowy government is the ones doing that, is playing with the ET's DNA who get killed here, is playing with our DNA, which is something that's interesting. Can't believe I'm going to go there. Which is something that Hitler did with the Third Reich and with the Aryan people, is play with the DNA of his own people. On his deathbed, von Braun, is it? Werner von Braun, the creator of the rocket, said the biggest thing to fear is not the weapons themselves. It's the shadowy government beneath the weapons. That's what Eisenhower said as well. That's what many other politicians have said as well. Now, is there anything else I want to cover before I go to questions? The 3 warnings. 1, we've got half a year to maybe a year to rein in these technology, to rein in the shadowy government before there's a black flag event. Now, I've got a 1-year-old. I pray that is not the case. I pray there is nothing like that coming in our lifetime or ever. But that's a nice, powerful reason to step forward. 2, we've got 2 to 3 years before our technology is so advanced, sort of like the scalar waves that are being produced by the HAARP in Antarctica, that extraterrestrial civilizations go, somebody's saying, be careful, Michael, nothing is private. Nothing I'm sharing here hasn't been said by Dr. Greer and hasn't been shared by everyone else. In fact, I know nothing. I really know nothing. I'm just sharing what I heard, which means secondhand or third hand, and I want you to corroborate it and check it for yourself. Don't believe me. Don't believe anyone. Check it for yourself. The good thing about Dr. Stephen Greer's work is all corroboratable, if that's a word. It's all been given to the press. It can all be found online. It can all be found at his website. It can all be found in these hard drives that have been given out over 1,000 times and will be given out more. You don't have to take anything I say. I believe I'm probably pretty safe because I don't know a darn thing. This is about us coming together in love. So we've got the first clock ticking. The second clock is extraterrestrials going, this is getting a little too close to home. They have the technology to literally blow up a planet. What do we need to do? And then the third, which wasn't so much discussed much this weekend, but was the topic at the beginning of his documentary, is planetocide. And that's the one I didn't even dare go to in our interview last week because it's just too scary to me. I follow all the numbers. I follow the data. I see what's going on. The cool thing is, and that's a clock of, he says, 15 years at best. All of these things are reversible. Every single one is changeable. The cool thing is they're all so completely and totally interrelated. We work on one, we get to all of them. That's the beauty of this. As we start pulling the strings as a civilization coming together all as one, what happens? We get energy. We get travel. We get, our George Jetson cars or whatever we want there. We get peace. We get food for people. 3 billion people. Billion people do not have clean running water on this planet. 3 billion people. And yet we've got, 10 or 15 people that control 90 some odd % of the wealth in this country. I'm okay with that. I love you up. But we can all live together as one. If we step forward, help others step forward, be brave in stepping forward, and get this information out to everyone we know. Now, I do a lot of teaching on mysticism, teaching on energy, teaching on manifestation, teaching on meditation. We can call it whatever we want. I play with energy, which actually you do too. You're an energetic being having an energetic experience, masquerading temporarily as a human being. Masquerading? Well, yeah, temporarily you think you're human. And then you go back to the other side and you realize you're so much greater than that. Humans are great. Don't get me wrong. We are great, but we're awesome, incredible, divine, unbelievable beings. having the most amazing, which appears horrific, but the most amazing experience. And you voted to come here. You chose to come here at this time to help us make it through. Karma is real. It's not how we've been taught. It's not an eye for an eye. It's not, well, you're going to pay for it for lifetime after lifetime because you did something wrong. No, karma is the interconnection of every single one of us. It is the learning of lessons energetically. And that learning helps carry us forward, helps us ascend, helps us to grow. And we bring that learning and that teaching with us to our next lifetime, to our next lifetime, to our next lifetime, which means this world matters. It's so beautiful. It's crazy amazing. It's incredible. This morning, we were just looking at little crabs running around in the water. And then, forgive me, I'm vegan. I look at them and I go, how could you eat one of these things? It's okay if you do. I love you just as much. But you look at the beauty in this world, or a little crab with this little spiral snail on it and this Fibonacci sequence in it. And you go, wow, that's so cool. Everything is so cool. Look at a thundercloud. So cool. In fact, that brings us back to zero gravity or zero energy for a brief second. A lot of the machines are done with thunderclap energy at a micro level. They're called micro lightning balls or lightning balls, tiny little balls that there are 4 states of matter. There's solid ice, there's liquid water, there's gaseous steam, and then there's a 4th state, a plasma state, a state of pure energy, like a spark plug in your car, like a lightning bolt. And in that plasma state, you're tapping into the zero energy field. So when you hear of a lightning strike, it's tapping into that state. And many of these inventors, and they're playing with devices that spin, they're playing with devices that have a toroidal effect, they're playing with devices that have tiny little balls of lightning inside of them, tapping into that zero energy field. So, going back to this, if I was to do this as a spiritual teaching, any of the teachings that I do, I would say awareness is the first step. That if you have awareness, everything else will follow. I joked in class at the School of Mystics last week about the slug bug effect. If you've grown up here in the States, maybe elsewhere as well, then you may have had the misfortune of sitting in the car with another child who played slug bug with you. And if you played slug bug, it meant that if somebody saw a Volkswagen Beetle and they said bug or slug bug, they could hit you and you couldn't do anything back. And then you get hit, and then you get hit, and then you get hit. What was happening? Well, as soon as you focus your awareness on finding a VW bug, what happens? You see more bugs, and you see more bugs, and you see more bugs, because your awareness has come to the forefront. Awareness draws in what you desire. It is a magnetic energy. That's everything we're talking about here tonight. So if you bring awareness to others, if you bring awareness to Congress, to the House, to the Senate, to the president, to the press, if you say, I need to know the truth, and you bring this awareness, here's what we know, here's what we see, you share my link, you share Dr. Greer's link, you share all of this information out there, what happens? Awareness is liberating. Awareness attracts awareness. So, you crank up your awareness, and this starts to change everything. How? Post it on a blog, put it on social media, put it on your bumper, broadcast it from a radio, broadcast it from your computer. That's the first step. So is there a shadow government? Yes. Do we get to take back our power? Yes. Do we commit to communicate with ETs? Yeah, in fact, I think that would be a very powerful. So I channel higher dimensional beings. We can call it whatever we will. Archangel Sandalphon just keeps coming through. Maybe it's Archangel Sandalphon. Maybe it's an Arcturian trying to get in touch with me. I don't know. But the way I play the game, it's always the highest level being. And it's always a being of pure love. And what Sandalphon said is, Michael, teach them awareness. This is incredibly powerful. But then make sure they take one action. One key step. And I'm going to give you your choice of one key step. My choice, my first choice is let's get it out there. That's why I'm doing this here tonight. That's why I was obviously nervous about doing this here tonight. Well, I could do a show. It's warm and fuzzy. And no, there was a pull on my heart that said I had to do this, even though I'm going, honestly, even about an hour before the show, I'm going, maybe I shouldn't do this. But we got to put the word out there. So if you got to do one action, I would step forward and I'd tell others about it. That's what I would do. I'd take that step. And I would certainly go on to Stephen Greer's website. I guess that'd be 2 actions, and learn what you might want to say to your congressman and senator. But just shoot them a line, shoot them a sentence, shoot them a paragraph, shoot them a love letter. Just don't do anything more than that. You get what I'm saying? Send them love, send them love, send them love. And if there was a second thing, contact the extraterrestrials yourself, because we need their help. Now, here's the thing. People say, and Dr. Stephen Greer talked about this, that extraterrestrials have gotten involved so many times to prevent nuclear war, to prevent nuclear accidents, to prevent accidents that would lead to military war, that prevent nuclear missiles from going off in silos, all sorts of different things. They've gotten involved because they can read the scalar energy that's coming off, that's not radiation, but different energy that's coming off of the nuclear weapons, and they know when something's about to go down, and they take action to prevent it. We go, well, why can't they just take action this time? Because we're being set up 143 or 145 bases worldwide. We're being set, no, those were just the ones in the US, and he pointed out all the other bases worldwide, I believe. Forgive me, not a reporter. And I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm listening to him speak. I'm trying to roll it back, whether those 143 were just in the US or not. Fact being, we are being set up. You've seen the press. You've heard how it's coming forward from the military or from the Pentagon, that there are these UAPs and that we don't know what they're doing, and they may have a lot more power, and we need military, and we need to take more action. We're being set up, you and I, for a fall. We're being set up for these guys to come in and, for there to be a false flag event. So the extraterrestrials are going, we can see what's going on down there. First off, they're shooting us out of their sky with their scalar weapons, that they took our technology and weaponized it. So these guys don't have weapons. They're coming from a place of love. And secondly, if we try to go down there, they're going to turn that into a false flag event. They're going to make us out as the enemies. So they're stuck on the sidelines. And thank you for posting The Lost Century. You must watch this documentary. It is beyond awesome. So we contact the extraterrestrials. We ask for their help. We send them love. We let them know they know humanity is good. But the more energy that we send them, the better. And here's a crazy, wild thing that happens. Ooh. This is what I want to leave you with from an energetic point of view. And then we're going to go into some questions. We'll go to a meditation. I have watched so many situations. So we need to step forward. First off, you need to step forward. So publicize. Be brave. And you can go anonymous, but and nothing wrong with that. Go to Congress, go to the House, go to the Senate, put it up, post it, your blog, your anywhere, post, your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your TikTok. Get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there. And there is a beautiful prayer you can do. Oh, I had no idea I was going to do this tonight. There's a beautiful prayer that you can do that helps you to there's a 0-point energy field. It is everything. It is everyone. You are pure energy. I am pure energy. If we took the amount of energy in our bodies, we could create or destroy the entire universe. I like to say create. That's how much energy we have. And more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. That's how much energy is inside of us. If we shift our own energy, we can begin shifting the outcome. So in addition to stepping, and we are all one, we are part of this field. You cannot separate you from me. You are my brother. You are my sister. And the same for me. We are one. So are the powers that be that hide technology, the US government, petroleum industry. So are the powers that be that we can't even see in the shadowy government. However, we hold the real power. We are each individual generators. How can we generate power and what can we do with it? Let's bring it back to love. Not a kumbaya, warm and fuzzy, I love you, everything is fine. I didn't say everything is fine here tonight. I said we get to make a choice. We get to step forward. If you've been seeing 222, the angel number, that means it's go time. It's time to step forward, hand in hand. 1 + 1 is 2. Hand in hand together, we get to discern and step forward. There's a prayer. You may already know it. You may have heard it in many different circumstances. I have used it when situations have gone weird, when contracts have gone weird, houses have gone weird, all sorts of strange things. Relationships have gone weird. And I've seen them heal relationships. I've seen them turn contracts around. I've seen them sway situations into a positive direction beyond anything I thought was ever even remotely possible. Through this one prayer, which changes your energy. And the change of your energy changes the energy of everyone and everything around us. So I want you to step forward. I don't want you to, and somebody said, stop the nukes. I was invited down to the Nobel Peace Prize Summit a few years ago by a gentleman who runs an organization to stop nuclear weapons. I get it, Richard Gandolf. I get it. I get it. This is 1,000 times more significant than the nukes. That's the craziness. Nuclear technology is kind of old school. This is re-engineered. But let's not worry about the weapons. Let's not worry about any of this, although I do want you to take action. Let's bring it to a place of love. So, well, let's all do this together. Do we do it now? Do we do it at the end? We're going to do it at the end. Forgive me. I'm not trying to leave you on a cliffhanger, but we're going to do this at the very end to bring some love and light to this. And so I'm going to take a few questions. I want to caveat that. I watched the documentary. I watched all of these interviews. I listened to Dr. Stephen Greer. I think I've had him on the show now 3 times, and I've read his work. And I've combed through a lot of it, and I have a lot more to comb through. And I watched the press conference today. That does not make me an expert. That does not even make me an amateur. That does not even really qualify me for the peanut seats. So I'm going to do my best to answer some questions. Do not take my information as someone being in the know. I really know nothing. And I'm not saying that to keep myself safe. I know nothing. Stephen Greer, his organization, the Disclosure Project. Oh my God, the amount of information that they got out and got to everyone. It's crazy amazing. And I pray it comes out, and I pray it comes out, and I pray, and we're going to do some work on that. Actually, I'm very confident it will come out because of people like you. You're a hero. You're listening to this today. I know you'll take action. For other heroes, for amazing heroes, for whistleblowers who are coming forward, for those people in Congress and the House and the Senate who will step forward, for presidents who will take action. It's not just the US. So, all right, let's go to a few questions with me saying that I promise you I probably do not have the answer. But let's do what we can, and then we'll do a beautiful prayer exercise. First off, it looks like Rue needs bed. So I'm going to have Rue say goodnight to you. And he's pacing back and forth. And so I want to get him to sleep, unless it's just for his girl who went off the table. So let me get him his girl, Henrietta, back first. And then let's see if he needs to sleep. Hold on here. Oh, you do need to sleep. You do. Oh, you're so tired. Do you want to say goodnight to everyone? This is a rooster. We know what roosters are supposed to be like. That's not what Rue is like. Why? Plain and simple, love. Love, 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 love. Can we see Rue in his rooster PJs? Well, this is all he's got. It's his bathing suit. It's his nighttime suit. It's his everything suit. But it is all about bringing it to love. All right, let's get him to bed. Yeah, he is a. Yes, I've got my funny shorts on. He is huge, but it is all about love. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Let me get him to bed. I know, folks. That 0 point energy, that's love. All right. From Stefani. Can we collectively send peace and love to those with bad intentions? Oh, Stefani, you beat me to it. We're going to do just that. Casey, radar can take them down. Does that mean it's a technology that's hindering us? No, what they're doing is they're putting another signal into the radar beam. So it looks like it's a standard radar. It looks like it's an innocent device, but they've scalar weaponized in it where they put different frequencies into it that don't just bounce back, but actually will freeze or take down a flying object, or a lot more than that. But that's the basics. Aaron Wexler. Love you, man. I love everybody here tonight. How do you move past any all fears goals about this and stay focused on the goal to represent global peace and love as we become stewards and representatives of universal love during our CE5 contact? Look at a light bulb, Aaron. There's lightness, there's darkness, there's all sorts of stuff going on. The light just shines. It doesn't give a hoot. It just shines. Aaron, we get to go out of that fear-based place. We can come back to it. We can use it even as fuel to step forward. But we go, who knows? I don't know. I don't know how the game's going to be played out. Well, I'm super confident humanity will make it. I don't know what it all is going to look like. But I'm going to focus on that love and focus on that light with everything I've got. And then when I go down, I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to say, Pookie, are you okay? And dust off everybody. And then bring it right back up. When we talk about 0 point energy, what we're talking about is things going in and out of existence. You could call it polarity, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. It means we don't judge when it's a wave rather than a particle. All of it is here to serve us. Sort of like a seesaw isn't just fun when it's up or isn't just fun when it's down. The whole ride is fun. Okay, fear doesn't sound fun, but we don't judge the ride. We just bring it back to love and light, bring it back to love and light, bring it back to love and light. Ooh. I can only give you my opinion on this, Leffy. Is humanity descended from ETs since time does not exist? I would go with yeah, heck yeah, oh yeah, certainly yeah, 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 yeah. And the whole history of humanity is not at all as it appears to be. And heck, since we're getting weird tonight, I remember years ago seeing images of pyramids on Mars. And I certainly believe there are pyramids on Mars. And I certainly believe that we lived on Mars. And I certainly believe that our ancestors and our future generations have traveled not just the galaxy, but the whole universe or universes. Once we understand that ETs are real, once we understand that free energy is real, once we understand that this technology is real, then we get to rewrite the history of everything, because everything we've been taught is not true. We can handle it. It's even more beautiful. It's even better. It's even more amazing than we've ever been taught. And it certainly gets into other things like life after life, that we're eternal beings. ETs get this. And we don't have to fight so hard for the scarcity of resources, for the scarcity of holding on here, for the scarcity of anything because of what we've been taught. Jane, why does the majority of the human race believe that we are all that exists in the whole wide universe? Are we really this small-minded? No, Jane, we've been taught. It's sort of like, well, I'm looking at baby Hannah right now. And she looks around at all of these things that are moving around, and she talks to other things and she points to other things, and those other things are real. But guess what? Even if we're harmless about it, if we don't see it, if we don't acknowledge it, if we say to stop making things up, over time we stop believing in it. It's very easy to convince someone to stop believing in something. In the past, we didn't not believe in other races, in other species, in extraterrestrials. Look at the story from just about every indigenous nation, indigenous people, indigenous stories. Yes, I guess that's redundant. They're all stories of us being star seeds, of us being star children. Even if you look at the Bible, where did we come? Where did we come from? Where were we created? Created from where? We suddenly appeared in the Garden of Eden. From where? Nearly every story out there has us as not being alone in the universe. But then it's been corrupted to keep us small, to keep us feeling powerless, to keep us from asking the questions that you are certainly asking after today, if not from last week's show. You certainly get to ask the question, hey, Michael, you've got a great computer. If you're watching this, you've got a great computer, you've got a smartwatch, you've got a smartphone, you got a smart thing, you got a smart that, and they're all powered by coal or powered by nuclear energy, which generates waste that's going to last at least 500,000, or maybe it's even more than 500 million years. What? Or it's powered by a solar panel, which by law, if it's more than 20% efficient, and Dr. Greer brought this out, if it's more than 20% efficient, gets confiscated by the government and taken away. You start asking questions. That's what this is about, Jane. We're starting to ask the big questions. That's the 50%. That's the awareness. That's the taking back our freedom and taking back our power. Oh, what about all the information Farsight have gotten through remote viewing by Jeffers? So I cannot speak about the information that Farsight has gotten. What I can say is remote viewing is real. Remote viewing is a technology. In fact, years ago, I had access to a CIA class or something on remote viewing. I just couldn't get through it because of the energy. Wish I had. But that is real, and that is actually stepping forward. Remote viewing has to do with scalar waves. It has to do with information. It has to do with viewing. It has to do with optics that have to do with being carried on these longitudinal waves outside of time and space. Joan, I know Michael asked Dr. Greer several points for a definition of zero-point energy, but I never heard him say it. Does Michael have that info? Well, zero-point energy means it is an energy in the field of potentiality. There's images online and certainly in Dr. Greer's videos that shows this pulsation of a web that goes up and down and up and down. And I think when it goes up, it becomes a ball. It goes down, it becomes a web. When it goes up, it becomes a ball. It comes down, it becomes a web. It is this pulse of energy from wave to particle. From that bulge, that's the wave, to the particle, that's the ball, back into the web, that's the wave, back into the ball, that's the particle. And that is the pump that is the zero-point energy. It then becomes just a matter of what is your mechanism. And there are three main mechanisms. There's circular or toroidal, and there are two others that I have in my notes somewhere. Please forgive me, Joan, I don't have it on me. It is in the documentary of his as to ways that we can tap into that energy. He doesn't have the ways himself. He's met so many of these people. One of the things he talked about so emotionally this afternoon was this group of people who had this technology, and then they found a corporation that would help them monetize it. And Stephen Greer's going, I know this how this is going to go. Don't do it. I'll even give you some money. We'll put it out publicly. We'll get it out to the public, but please don't do it. And the next thing you know, a couple months later, they're calling him going, our lives are in danger. We're on the run for our lives. And he's like, oh boy, well, you've got to get it out there to the public. You've got to do what you can right now, this minute, this second. Don't try to keep it secret. And they said, well, we're going to leave the country. We're going to find a country that's safe. And Stephen Greer goes, what country? You're going to have to go to another galaxy. And he said, I think 5 of the 6 members of the team were assassinated, and the 6th one was crying like a baby and never, the assumption is never normal again. because they didn't put that information out there. Jade Ashcroft, how does this relate to we are all as one as spirits? I don't understand. Beautiful question, Jade. We are all here as spirit having a human existence. We can choose what we do with this existence. So we can choose to come here and sit on the couch and we learn some lessons and we go back, and that's okay. Or we can choose to step forward into our power and into our gifts, and that's great as well. We can even choose to step forward and help to bring us all back together and to remember who and what we truly are. To me, Jade, that is the highest level game. So if you've ever, Jade, had a vacation that went bad, really bad, really, really badly, lost your luggage, who knows what happened. It's those vacations we tend to remember the most, and it's those vacations we learn from the most. We learn the most with humanity 1.0. I believe there's higher levels of civilization and extraterrestrials. To Dr. Greer, Dr. Greer said we're actually like 0.0 and it goes up to like 10.0 or beyond. We will learn at levels once we get through this time period where we don't learn with pain and suffering and challenge. Right now, humanity learns with pain and suffering and challenge. We learn how to come together all as one. The more divisive the situation, the more difficult the situation, the more dangerous the situation, that tends to be when we learn best. Most people have said global warming, blah, 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 blah. Even if you're serious about global warming, you may not have taken it that serious until all of a sudden you're being choked in New York City and it's an orange sky and you're going, it's like I'm living on Mars. And all of a sudden you go, I need to do something. That's the same as learning that we are all one. We don't really take it to heart until something really serious takes place for now. And I certainly hope that is not the case in the future. Eric, I ask my angels and guides for help all the time. My emotions make me more than miserable. Can spirit help me with bad depression and anxiety? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Eric, I want you to find one tool and use it on a daily basis. I'm an automatic writing guy. I think that really helps remove a lot of the stress, worry, and anxiety and depression. It's not a cure-all for anything. Psychiatric community can certainly help. EFT tapping can help. Dr. Bradley Nelson's emotion code can help. But what you get to do is you get to peel away the layers of the trauma that is driving you. Judith Richards and her amazing program for getting rid of trauma can help. When you have bad depression and anxiety, it means two things. One, there's traumas that get to be cleared and eliminated. Throw the kitchen sink at it, Eric. Secondly, it means somehow you're out of alignment. Find what pulls on your heart. And if you find nothing, then go out to nature. Nature will help you find that. And find what brings you back into alignment and brings you back into your heart. Can you explain what you think the shadow government is? Those people are not human. No, I'm not hearing that at all. Nowhere is anyone here talking about people not being human that are running the shadow government. The shadow government, in essence, is groups that got a lot of money and got a lot of technology and tinkered with it and figured out what to do with it and probably were up to no good or like to weaponize it because there's this drive of humanity for power. And they managed to secretize things where you can see they actually broke down over the weekend. This brilliant expert broke down, and it's public record, military spending, and all these line items are blanked out. They say things like poker night is one of the projects, for instance, or retirement home is a project, or Leo is a project. What's the project Leo? And they say that the shorter the name, the more black box, the more secrecy is around it. But it won't say the amount of money going to it until at the end of the day, there's a ticket to the Pentagon with all these things blacked out with a total price put behind it. That's the shadow government. There's no political oversight. There's no public oversight. There's no laws that run them. And yet as a taxpayer, for you and me, our money goes to fund them. And chances are they run illegal operation after illegal operation after illegal operation, such as either drug trade, human trafficking, the list goes on, which witnesses have stepped forward to corroborate both of these things. One this weekend realized that he had evidence of what was actually human trafficking. That's why there's these war crimes that have taken place But we have to go to Amnesty first. We have to go to forgiveness. Okay, Shoshana. What are my top 3 tips to support and to heal as a collective heart of light? Shosha, awareness of remembering we are all one. Awareness of remembering that we will make it through this, that there is a way, the sun will still shine. And then we're going to do Ho'oponoponopono at the very end, and that's going to be in about 5 minutes. Hopeful spectator. I don't go to the word evil, hopeful spectator. It's not a word in my vocabulary. Lost, misled, fearful, scared, confused. I will use all of these words, but I never use the word evil. Lost in the darkness, certainly. We can call evil meaning lost without love or not able to find God or the light again, whatever you define God as. 0-point energy, you can define it as. How do we forgive them? It's forgiving ourselves. We are one. When you forgive them, what happens? Well, we are in this field of energy. And let's think about it as music, hopeful spectator. And we can play a beautiful symphony at the highest note and the most amazing crescendo. Or we can play the most chaotic notes at this level here that is just really hard on the ear to hear. Here's your choice. Since we're all in this symphony, we're all in this beautiful musical pit together. Do you bring love to the people who are making the bad notes so that they can play a better note? Or do you shame them and beat them down and make the symphony sound even worse? That's the game, the higher level game. That's what we call the upper room. That's the game played at that highest level for our highest good, for the highest good of all, or something even better. And that something even better is peace, is love, is food, is water, is a healing of the earth. Oh, Mama Earth, I want to heal you so badly. Is all of this through the power of forgiveness? Because if you don't have forgiveness, and I mean true forgiveness, and you say, you bad, me good, all you're doing is perpetuating the old, even if you have a new technology. And I don't believe there's any way we can bring everybody forward to come to the other side of this, to get to the other side of this veil, to get to the wizard behind the cloth and the Wizard of Oz, unless we let them know it's okay. Whatever you did, as horrific as what you did, it's all okay. We all get to go back to spirit, source, whatever we want to call it. And there is no heaven, there is no hell. There is simply this beautiful, loving light where you learn. And certainly, you come to terms with whatever you went through, and then you go on in your existence. Well, why don't we? But we will call that heaven. Why don't we bring that heaven here down to earth by practicing that very thing here and now? Fawn, oh, brilliant question. And I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it. Is this dark shadow government the reason for all the mass shootings in the US? Fear. Fear, chaos, holding on to old systems breaking down, and certainly a culture in this climate, a culture in this country that is very, it's a weaponized society. Makes it easier to control, makes it easier for when a big false flag event takes place to control a populace. Pit the populace against each other, make the populace live in fear, make the populace live in hatred, push the populace down, push people down, push individuals down, bully them, give them games where they're shooting and killing, show them movies where they're shooting and killing. This is a very violent society until now, until this very moment, until we choose something different. And Fawn, it speaks to the dissatisfaction of people during this times. I came to Earth and was promised something beautiful and special, and instead, this is what I'm getting? And people pop. But Fawn, what if this became the most loving culture, the most loving country, the most loving people on Earth? Loving people don't kill loving people. Never happened. Never will. That is part of the awareness, and that is part of your job and my job, Fawn. We can do this. We can bring love. Last note, and I rarely go to a pope, Pope John Paul, I don't remember who was the third. And certainly we can look at all of these different organizations and everything, and I'm not even going to go there. Visited, he was shot, almost died. Visited his, started a pen pal relationship. I don't remember the order of the story. Please forgive me. Pen pal relationship with his shooter, with the person who tried to kill him. Ended up hugging this man, letting him out of prison, getting him amnesty. We can look at religion in all different ways and popes in all different ways if we want, but that was an example of pure love and forgiveness at the highest level. Thank you, Aya and Anne, Pope John Paul II. Love and forgiveness at the highest level. That's the healing we need here on Earth. Last question. Macbee. Since we are energy beings, why do we need to keep coming to this planet? Who is really running the show? Macbee. What you're going to find on the other side, and this is corroborated with story after story after story after story after story, and after past life regression, after past life regression, after past life regression, and I've had these past life regressions myself. Macbee, please forgive me for saying this. You chose to come to this party. You chose to come here. You chose to become a change maker. You chose to play a role. You chose to be an amazing participant in one of the most difficult, challenging, horrific, awful, great, amazing, incredible experiences in all of the galaxies known and unknown. You chose to come here. And you can choose never, ever, 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 ever to come back here. Or you can choose to come back here as often as you'd like to help people learn in school here. Who is really running the show? Us on the other side of the veil, making choices for our highest good and the highest good of all. And we have collectively chosen for this difficult time to help us grow and to ascend. But we get to make a high-level choice here on Earth of, what is it, Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Do no harm to ourselves, Macbee, and the language we speak to ourselves. We would all go to jail if that were made public. So we get to change the language we speak to ourselves because we're incredibly violent to ourselves. We get to change the language we speak to other humans. So we're incredibly violent to other humans. And we get to change the language that we speak to all of the universe. Put a different way. Macbee, since we're here, we might as well rock it with all the love we've got. Period, period, period. One more. For you, love yourself up. For your neighbor, love them up. For the ETs, love them up. For the dark, shadowy organization that we want to bring, or organizations that we want to bring into the life, and anyone who has hidden technologies, hidden UFOs, or done any harm anywhere in the galaxies, love them up with everything that you've got. That to me is a mighty. And yes, love this up by giving it a big thumbs up, share, 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 share. And if you like the energy here, go to dailywoohoo.com and subscribe to my daily newsletter, where it's not as profound maybe as today's show was, but certainly helps bring your energy up, because you came here, I came here, we all came here to play the highest level energy game we can. All right, so I'm going to take a sip of water. We've gone way over time. So thank you, Aya. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Bhavik. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everyone on our team who is helping us run this here tonight. Yeah. Guess what? It's your energy. Yes, I'm talking to you. You can see me looking at you. It's your energy that's helping hold space for everyone here. That's the key. The 0 point energy is us. And when you bring this love and light with you, not only do you help hold space for this event and look at the amazing, beautiful, open, wildly, incredibly positive discourse going on here. You're holding space for them, but you're holding space for all of humanity, for all humanity, all of humanity, all of Hannon. All right. There was so much energy. My water just just spilled out all over the table here. That's just too funny. How does it get any better than this? And Julie, welcome to the backstage pass. Lisa, thank you for your kind donation as well. All right. How does it get any better than this? We're in for a show. You know what? We're going to make it through this time. I know it. And then free energy, levitating vehicles, traveling to other galaxies, all of the stuff that was just in sci-fi movies and we were told wasn't true. And the fact is that it is true. How does it get any better than this? This is gonna be cool. And it's coming to a planet near you. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to practice a Hawaiian healing prayer called, I'm sure you've heard of it before, it's called Ho'oponopono. I had to spell it H-O''O-P-O, Ho'opono, O-P-O-N-O-N-O. That might be it. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a prayer that is really, I'm going to call it a 0-point energy prayer. It is a prayer that exists at the baseline of all of existence, that says that we are all one, that we are all connected, that we are all interwoven together in the fabric of space and time itself. And that if I work on healing my heart, I work on healing everyone's heart. Now, we can just practice Ho'oponopono. And somebody just said Star Trek. And what Stephen Greer said is one of the last things here tonight, is he said that people with skunk works and people in these secret organizations had come forward to say that everything, every technology in Star Trek and far beyond is true. How's that for wild? Back to Ho'oponopono. We can use this prayer to heal our heart. We can use this prayer to heal the world. We can use it to heal relationships. We can use it to heal and improve almost any situation out there. I can see somebody writing about A Course in Miracles right now. And it is truly a prayer that is all about going from fear to perfect love. How I like to use Ho'oponopono is I like to think of a person or a situation that isn't working out or isn't in alignment with perfect, pure love as best as I understand it. And I don't pretend to understand anything. Maybe love a little bit, maybe energy a little bit. But I take that person or that situation, and I like a visualization. So I like to visualize them as like a golden coin. And I take this golden coin. So let's say we're going to do for tonight. Let's say that it is let's run you through it. Let's have you close your eyes for a minute. Let's have you pitter patter your feet on the ground beneath you. Let's have you wiggle your butt into the chair. Really wiggle the butt. Have fun with it. Wiggling the butt, wiggling that butt. We've got a baby here. We're doing this kind of stuff all day long. Do, 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 do. You wiggle that butt. Do a dance in your chair. Close those eyes. Stretch for a minute. Yeah. Will feel really good. And then take a nice deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. And in. And out. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out, I want us to come together all as one. We're going to amplify this exercise tonight. We're going to amplify this prayer to the power of infinity. Imagine that everyone here watching this, past, future, and present, that we are all holding hands together as one, which is what we truly are. And you take the energetic hand of the person to your right, and you take the hand of the person to your left. You breathe in and you sway to the right. You breathe out and you sway to the left. If you looked at it from up above, you'd see this circle swaying to the right. It's an amazing human circle, giant circle, bigger than a stadium circle, and out and to the left. In to the right and out and to the left. As you continue to breathe in and out, swaying back and forth, all together as one, I want you to imagine dark, shadowy government, someone or someone hiding secret, anyone who has committed war crimes or atrocities in the name of power, in the name of secrecy, in the name of any of this stuff. But without judgment, you think of them. And then you see this magical gold coin form and come out of that 0 point energy, come out of the ethos, come out of the vacuum, come out of the nothingness, and appear above your head. And you grab this coin. And you say, may this coin represent everyone that I get to heal and that I get to give forgiveness, and everyone that I want to come forward. And you take this coin and you drop it in from the top of your head and from your third eye. And it goes like plinko, down, down, down into your heart. And you've inserted this coin into your heart. Now you put your hands over your heart. You can watch in your mind's eye as that golden coin powers your heart up as it comes apart molecule by molecule, all the way down to the tiniest little magnificent, beautiful scalar waves that power up everything. This is the 0 point energy meditation. And you feel your heart start to glow. And you feel it glowing brighter and brighter and brighter still. In fact, you feel your whole being begin to glow brighter and brighter and brighter still, till you are like the sun itself, and you're glowing and exuding this light. And if somebody came into the room, they would have to wear shades because you're glowing so incredibly bright, coming straight out of your heart. And then we drop back down as we're glowing so incredibly bright. And we are going to say the prayer of Ho'oponopono to heal our hearts, which then heals the heart of everyone that we have put into our heart, to everyone in the world. In other words, by saying these 4 lines for ourselves, to ourselves, and through ourselves, we heal those in need. We heal those who need forgiveness. We heal those who need to come forward. We heal those in the power. We heal everyone everywhere so that the truth comes out and we are truly once again living as one, in peace, in harmony, in power, in goodwill, in light, in love. Here are the 4 lines. You're not saying them to anyone else. You're not saying them for anyone else, but simply to heal your heart, which helps heal the heart of all of humanity. I love you. That's a loveness for yourself. That's a loveness for your heart. I love you. I love you. Please forgive me. That's a forgiveness to yourself, from yourself, for anything you have ever, ever, ever done. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I acknowledges I am sorry for anything that has harmed anyone, that has done anything, particularly to myself, for myself, or through myself. I am so sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. Thank you is the immediate precursor to love. It is one of the most powerful energies of the universe. In fact, we have brought the three top most powerful energies of the universe together in this one beautiful prayer. We have forgiveness, we have love, we have gratitude, all wrapped together as one. We may choose to have our hands on our heart as we are glowing and growing together as one. And we repeat this as often as we can. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can even see this light inside of you growing brighter and brighter. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can feel your heart hearing, I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can beam this love out there. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see the earth healed. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see all of humanity healed. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see everyone coming together forward as one. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see ETs coming down to the earth as one. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You see peace here on earth. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see pure harmony. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see the earth healed and our hearts healed. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can see us all living as one. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You can feel it on your heart. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You see yourself coming back into the love, back into the light. Sorry. Thank you. And lastly, and into your power, I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You are the love. You are the light. You are the sun who shines her light on everyone, everywhere, without judgment, without exception, without an eye for an eye, without a need for anything, but certainly with a hope of there being pure love. That's who and what you are, and that's who and what you get to do. And that to me is a mighty, mighty woohoo. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So please share, 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 share. Not just this, but everything from Dr. Stephen Greer, everything that you from the Disclosure Project. Share it all, share it all, share it all, share it all. Certainly subscribe. Give this a big thumbs up. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell your parent, tell your son or daughter, tell everyone that we can come together as one, that we can take back the power, that we can have humanity living as one to a whole new level. Where's the power, the zero energy power? It's right here. You must be feeling it right now. And how does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this. So come join us for our classes, of course. Join us for our newsletter. Join us for Sheila Gillette's show on Thursday, who channels the 12 archangels called Theo. Join us for everything. But I love you guys so, so much, and join together as one. Thank you to my Inspire Nation Dream Team. Thank you to you for being you and stepping back in your power. Thank you to the ETs for helping us make it through this time. And thank you to the love. Woo-hoo. Love you guys so, 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 so much. How does it get any better than this? Love it. So I hate to ask this, please forgive me, but Sheila, is this Armageddon?
The one thing that we do know, there's change. There's this need to release the old and let the new birth and the new come forward. We're all here to go through this massive shift. We chose to be here. Theo talked about this time of change. We're kind of seeing these things happening as we're moving in this fifth dimension and expanding into our higher conscious state. And what is happening now is to recognize this is a global species and the people have the power. These things weren't spoken about openly like they are today.
Every day there's a new horizon. Birds keep on singing, earth keeps on spinning. Time to toss any fears that rule you. Dance to vibrations, no limitations.